Welcome to the third and final year of my all-consuming battle with the squirrels in my backyard. And bust out the popcorn, because this year not only
he said he's been spending years setting this up for squirrels,
but also interspecies battles, home videos.
I love this guy. Anyone that spends years setting up an Olympic course for squirrels, so I'm in.
You're just gonna have to see it to believe it. So hold on to your walnuts and let's get started.
Hello, sports fans.
Shut the fuck up, dude. There's no way. Bro, there's no way, dude. Oh my god.
Athletes in all the world compete in 7
Even the
different
O's
events,
are like
including
little
the long
acorns.
jump, the high jump, and spinning balance beam, all for the glory and prestigious Walnut Cup. I'm Chuck Acorns.
And I'm Jimmy.
I'm Chuck Acorns. Bro, he has announcers.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up.
Just
Those
Jimmy.
are actual squirrels, dude. Shut up.
It's a
This is the coolest video I've ever seen.
In the backyard, the birds are singing, and the smell of fresh cut grass is in the air, which means it's time to head out to the action with our first event, the ski jump.
Now I know what you're thinking.
Alright, the ski jump. Let's see it, baby.
Because this is a squirrel competition, whereas for the previous 2 years, you designed a squirrel obstacle course and then placed your bird feeder at the end. So if the squirrels want the bird seed, they basically have to outsmart you and earn it. And that's true, but much to the utter dismay of both me and the birds, they're still just eating all my bird seed with impunity because they know they've won and there's nothing I can do to stop them. So after 2 years, I've given up. We know who wins when it's me versus them, but who would win if it's them
COVID hit and this guy said, what am I gonna do with all this free time?
If I create a series
I'm gonna
of events
build
they have
an
to compete
Olympic
against each other in. Like say, for example, the ski jump event, where once they make it to the top,
An
they have to
Olympic
take the
course
walnut
for
bait
squirrels.
and then escape before the pneumatic cylinder fires and the trap door
What the
drops,
fuck up,
sending
bro?
them down the ramp.
He's
and
like,
off
this
the
is like
jump.
an engineer
Well,
or something.
Case,
He
you
has
could
to
imagine
be.
there might be a squirrel named Fat Gus, who was a little more, you know, sturdy, who just really appreciated the caloric value of a fresh walnut. And a squirrel like that would be at a distinct disadvantage here, where the key really is just not to get greedy. Because the longer you take to really just stuff as many walnuts as you can in your mouth, nope. Oh boy.
Oh,
Well,
he's going down.
At some point, you just run out of time.
He's going down.
And then you find yourself in a predicament. And this freeze frame is the perfect moment to introduce all 4 of our backyard games
He used to work for
competitors, starting
NASA?
with
What the hell,
heavy
for
favorite,
real?
Fat Gus.
Did you just look this guy up, or have you seen his videos?
Clear, that's fat with the PH, as in fantastic. Now, in doing research on the backstories of the athletes, I stumbled on some previously undiscovered
This guy might be my
footage.
favorite
With a little
human
narrative
I've
liberty,
ever come
I was able to
across
piece together
on
that
YouTube.
Fat Gus grew up in a rougher area of the neighborhood.
Fat
called
Gus
Hubcap
grew up in a
Hills.
rougher
Even from the
part of the
outside, you can see it was
neighborhood.
a simple home, and on the inside, it was more
Oh my
safe.
god, look
Without
at his
wanting to buy
room.
new
What
things,
the
they were
fuck?
really
Look at his
good about
bed,
repurposing
dude.
whatever they
This
could
guy's a
scavenge. Or
legend.
if they lacked in material possessions, they made up
Oh, look at him
for
just
it with
wrestling.
quality family time. That other squirrel, by the way, is Fat
He's having
Gus's
a
sister
good
Augustine,
time.
and she's the second member of Team Hubcap Hills. Now, Fat Gus has always just sort of been
Bro, Fat Gus, it literally
in that
just
signature superhero pose,
stealing all the
manifested
food,
its
man.
first faint echoes
Leave some
at a
for the other
very young
squirrels,
age.
Fat
And
Gus.
then Augustine, for her part, was always very clever, but also very particular. Here you can see her spending a long time trying to get her bed just right
Look at her
before
getting all
sleeping
comfy.
for all of 3 seconds and then waking up to a new hairdo. And while they come from humble beginnings, they've been training to
come
compete
from
in the
humble
backyard
beginnings.
games for the Walnut Cup since the moment they
doing
could
some
scurry,
pull-ups.
because it represented a chance to move up to a nicer tree in the neighborhood. Speaking of which,
I
for
can't
the other
imagine
two
how long it
contenders,
took
we
to
have
this guy
Rick
to make
and
this
Marty,
video.
who you know from the previous 2 years. But what you might not
Oh,
know
I've
is
seen
they
the
grew
glitter
up
bomb
in
for
Walnut
stolen
Estate,
packages.
in a
I didn't know it was the same
nice
guy.
Japanese maple down the street. But unlike Hubcap Hills,
built an
Walnut
entire
Estates
mansion.
features a hickory piano and a fully stocked bookshelf. And so, as you might imagine, Rick and Marty's athletic training equipment was also a step above. Not only that, but Walnut Estates is so spacious it has 2 rooms. This was a home protected from the
And
harsh
bunk beds.
world where they could take their time
So much
learning
room for
basic
activities for
skills.
them.
Even eating. And what you should know about Rick and Marty is they've always been fairly athletic, and they also scare pretty easy. But despite their differences, what all 4 contenders have in common
I think
is they've
Fat
been
Gus
dreaming of
might
this
take the victory, to be
competition
honest.
since they were old enough to sleep, so it'll be
He's the
fascinating
wild
to
card. He's
see
dark
who
horse.
comes out
I
on
think
top. Back at
Fat
the ski
Gus
jump,
is
after
gonna be
a
the most
recovery
chill.
and then a swift abandonment
He's gonna
of
win it.
ship, Fat Gus's teammate Augustine steps up for her attempt. And while she's nevertheless more dignified in her nibbling, the outcome remained unchanged. This signal right here is probably my favorite because it's like 1 second there is a floor and the next second there's not. but she recovers beautifully like squirrels always do because they're masters of physics, as we covered extensively in my previous 2 backyard squirrel videos. Next was Marty, who was watching the other 2 from the sidelines and taking notes, and must have assumed it only fires if you walk directly onto the platform, because he did this clever number.
He's learning.
And while he's clearly bad at deductive reasoning, he is good at scaring easily, which came in handy here because before the floor barely even drops, he's launched himself onto the roof. And finally, we have Rick, who plays a conservative, and while that might be less entertaining for the crowd,
nice, Rick.
it secures the first gold medal of the Backyard Summer Games
crazy
for Team Walnut Estates.
That they were learning from the squirrels before them.
Is made possible by Acorns because their app allows you to invest like a squirrel through saving and investing your money little by little. Next up is the second event of the Backyard Games, the Balance Beam, but with a twist. The goal here is for the contestants to simply get all the way across before the beam starts to spin on them. Now, they've been preparing for this event for a long time. Here you see toddler Augustine struggling at first, but eventually getting to the point where she was still wobbly, but much more in control. Then over at Walnut Estates, Rick and Marty would practice advanced moves like the underbar crawl, demonstrating the sharpest of concentration. But honestly,
look at their nails.
A hanging chandelier. First up is Marty, who in an effort to calm his nerves, pumps himself up with the flex. You'll come to see that this is kind of his thing.
He's bumping himself up.
After making his way up onto the beam, he just goes for it and makes it all the way to the end.
Oh, wow.
Almost.
Oh, no way he doesn't make it.
Catch up with
oh,
him
dude, you're so... he started peeing.
Inexplicably tries to run all the way back
and then he runs backwards. Oh, you idiot.
For him predictably. Next up is Augustine.
Almost
The
had
first sign of a spin, she yeets herself practically into my neighbor's yard. In the slow-mo, you see that classic make your body into a parachute pose that makes it so a squirrel could survive a fall from any height.
That's
Rick
crazy.
followed that performance by stepping up and making such quick work of the beam, it never even had a chance to spin. You could see the birds really appreciated that run as they watched from the telephone wire grandstands. The bird stands are constructed such that
does he have an entire production crew in his backyard videotaping all this? Is he doing this all by himself?
Unstable. But that didn't stop them from trying because of course they were going to try. They literally just try everything. That's like what they do. Finally, there was Fat Gus, who had such a quick start and was on pace for the goal. But that's when things took a turn.
No, come on, Fat dude, come on, Gus. Come on, Gus. Oh no, you're so close. Go the other way. Other way. Other way.
You just gotta admire the tenacity.
Come on, Gus. Go left. Go left. Oh, Gus. Oh.
And the slow-mo here is also great because it really gives you a sense of what Fat Gus is actually thinking. Alright, let's just get back on top and back on bottom. Dang it. Okay. Tail in the eye, tail in the eye. Hold it, hold it. I'm just going back to this side. Seemed easier. And
hey, that was pretty athletic, though. He stayed on for a while.
Back up. Mark does not pay me nearly enough for this. And while I wish gold medals could be given for effort, the Backyard Games is all about results. So Walnut
he probably has like 100 squirrels in his backyard now.
Which takes us to the third event called Quick Drop. Now the goal here is to nudge the large wooden ball off the cylinder to access the chewy walnut center. And just like with the balance beam, they've been training for this event from a young age. And here you can see the difference money can make, because while Rick was able to work with the near exact replica of the Quick Drop event, Fat Gus is over here dealing with the real Wish.com situation. Although still managing to look
figuring it out
in the process. Augustine was up first and scoped things out, but ended up getting so particular with her approach, she couldn't settle on a strategy and left the platform with the ball unmoved.
Wow.
Then Marty comes up, and after another little flexing routine to psych up both himself and the bird stands, he's a bit more bold, but still pretty skittish. And you can't
did you see
blame him
that
for
wall
being
jump?
skittish because there are other animals
Dude, wall
in the
jump to tap strafe, did you see that?
Interested in walnuts and more interested in squirrels. For example, there's small birds like this blue jay buzzing by, big birds like this hawk camping out. Then of course there's a few cats who seem to be just a bit too curious. But by far the most fearsome predator of all this year is actually spying on Rick right here. See if you can spot him. Now you can see as soon as Rick locks eyes with his
what is that? Is that a rabbit?
beast, he becomes so filled with terror, he somehow decides his best option is just to hurl his body to the great unknown. Because the most feared backyard creature is a big ol' rat.
Rat?
He's a bit of a bully, and his name is Fat Tail.
Fat Tail! Oh my god, what the hell? Dude, what? There's like a... Dude, the rat is attacking the squirrels. What the fuck? There's no way. What? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
He's just your classic schoolyard bully, even with his own friends. He wreaks chaos and terror in the backyard.
Wow,
and
Fat Tail's a dick.
That's not the last we'll see of him. Back to the games, you can see Fat Gus steps up, and perhaps the tennis ball just wasn't close enough to the big wooden sphere after all, because this effort looked pretty similar to Augustine's attempt with no actual results. Which just left Rick, who was able to remove the ball without too much effort, but it's when he goes for the walnuts inside where he just really leaves it all on the table.
Wow, he's putting it all out there.
Meant Walnut Estates was now winning 3-0.
Well, this is a best of 7 event.
The announcers kill me, Jimmy and Chuck.
4 gold medals wins, and this may be turning into an old-fashioned rout.
That's right, Chuck. Hubcap Hills really needs
That's
to step
such a
it
good
up, because
idea.
if Walnut Estates gets 1 more gold medal, they're going to be the winners of the backyard games.
Which is all to say they needed a huge showing at the long jump if they ever expected to hoist the Walnut Cup. The rules here are pretty self-explanatory. You gotta jump from this platform and make it all the way to the sand pit, and the team with the most successful jumps
That's a
wins.
long jump, though.
Rick is the first one up, and you can see he's really struggling to calculate the trajectory and to
Come on,
do
you
the
gotta get a
math
running
in his
start,
head
buddy.
to make the jump work. But eventually he chooses to just go for it and to put
Wow,
his
he's
trust
just
not
broad
in the
jumping
math,
it.
but in himself.
Frogger style. Oh my
Which was the
god.
wrong choice. Next up is Augustine, and knowing what's at stake here,
I'm worried
she
for
musters
Fat
an
Gus, man.
uncharacteristic amount of resolve and just goes full send, sticking a perfect landing.
Wow. Couldn't have been
And so
better.
you can see Marty patiently waiting his turn on deck
Marty's
while
gonna
she's
flex,
enjoying
watch.
the fruits of her labors. As Rick's like, hey, I know I didn't make my jump, but are you cool if I join you on the landing pad? And she's like, yeah, that's definitely not an option. As she not only kicks him off, but double checks that he's really gone. And I should say, with all the excitement around the backyard games,
a whole audience
there were
growing.
other animals that would occasionally want to get in on the action too. Some who were bigger, and some who at least thought of themselves as bigger. Here's a long jump attempt, but it's like, dude, crow. You have wings.
This guy is the
That's
coolest
not
backyard
impressive.
ever.
Up next is Marty, who knows he needs to land
Let's
this
go,
to
Marty.
keep them in contention.
Batty
so for
Squirrel.
motivation, he calls upon an extremely rare alternating double arm flex. And with a big leap
Dude, he's got
and
hops,
a bit
bro.
of a mid-air tail correction,
Oh,
Walnut Estates
Oh my
keeps the
God.
pressure on.
dude's
And
got
finally,
hops.
there's Fat Gus, who has to land this jump to keep their dreams alive.
Let's
And
go,
while
Fat
as Marty
Gus.
seeks motivation from the power flex, Fat Gus seeks motivation from the power nap. After which,
Let's go, Fat Gus.
Here's the approach
Yeah. Send it.
and the launch.
Oh, baby. Oh, he's gonna come up short. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, he's gonna make it. Oh, oh my god, the anticipation.
Wait, did she
Dude.
get it?
Fat Gus.
Yes!
Yeah,
she
baby.
did. Oh my good. Bang the pots and bring in the melon ballers.
That was crazy.
Truly incredible. Oh my. Have you ever seen anything like that before in your life?
Never
No,
before.
Me neither.
And so as Fat Gus sits there enjoying the sweet taste of victory with their first points on the board, Rick realizes his hopes for redemption through a tiebreaker round are dashed as he shows himself down and heads to the next event, which happens to be the Nutcracker. Now for the Nutcracker, the gold medal goes to the first contestant to somehow open, then eat
Dude, my
the
money's on
actual
Fat
nut
Gus,
in
bro.
the walnut shell.
I
And
don't
once
see
again,
Fat Gus
prep
losing
work
this
for
one.
This very moment started at a young age. At Walnut Estates, admittedly there was some confusion as to how
He's been
this event
training for
works,
this
but
moment
with a
all
little
his
bit of
life.
teamwork, they eventually figured it out. Over at Hubcap Hills, you can see things were predictably less bougie, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. After heading over from the long jump, Rick comes in strong, but then freezes up as he tries to remember how they did this as kids. And after seemingly drawing a blank, he just decides to go ask Marty. And that appears to do the trick, because upon returning,
Marty's got
he
some
scores
strength,
a
man.
successful removal, but fumbles
Oh.
on the goal line, which is an out-of-bounds violation.
fumble.
Marty was up next, and having just coached Rick through this, he knows exactly what to do. Oh,
Wow, nice
Marty
hands.
with a nice fumble recovery. But after finding the exact perfect way to hold the shell, he takes the walnut out of bounds and decides to go off and bury it. And while this is a disappointing showing for Team Walnut Estates, this isn't that surprising because
This
even
is
as a baby
Fat
squirrel,
Gus's
he was
moment,
really
man.
good
I'm
at
telling
hiding
you.
things. Here he takes their favorite toy basketball and then cleverly buries
look at him, he's
it
hiding
under
the basketball.
rug, so there's no possible way Rick's ever gonna find it. Fat Gus is up next, and to the surprise of no one, removes, then shows the walnut in record time, like a true professional. And then finally there's Augustine, who takes a completely different approach. But it still counts, which gives Hubcap Hills a clear and decisive win, keeping their dreams alive and building on their momentum.
Hills making a
which brings
comeback.
us to the penultimate challenge in the backyard games, the Thunderdome, with 2 tubes that lead in for platforms
to the
on either side.
Thunderdome.
And the rules here are pretty simple. Basically, the contender, who's the last squirrel standing in the dome, takes home the gold. Now at this point, it probably won't surprise you to learn that both homes had quite a bit of wrestling in them growing up. And while Marty's favorite move was the piano slide to the surfboard, Fat Gus's go-to move was definitely the tail grab. So it'll be interesting to see what strategies carry over to today. And so after setting it out in the yard for a bit, the first on the scene was Fat Gus, who was somewhat intrigued, trying to figure out how to get inside. And
I don't think this is Fat Gus's expertise here.
Minor distractions and a quick power nap, the dome was breached. And Fat Gus was really enjoying time in the Thunderdome.
He made it.
That is, until a certain bully rat decided to show up.
Oh, shit.
And at first you can see Fat Gus stands by sort of helpless, as Fat Tail comes
what's he
in
gonna
and
do?
starts stealing all the walnuts. But
Bro,
after he
don't let
leaves,
him bully
Gus
you like that.
reclaims the throne
Yeah,
with
don't
a
let him bully you like
newfound
that.
resolve, so that when Fat Tail returns, the bullier becomes the bullied.
Yeah,
And he's
smash
kicked
him,
off
baby.
The platform, never
See
to
ya,
return
bitch.
again. And after that moment,
Bye.
you could just tell there
What
was
was
a
his name? Fat
newfound
Tail?
confidence. This was Fat Gus's world, and we're all just living in it. I mean, not even the
Fat
barking
Gus is a
dogs
legend.
were safe from this newfound bravado. And because all the other squirrels could see what was going on, it's no surprise that anytime the king showed up to the Thunderdome, things cleared out real quick.
The king,
which
baby.
means Hubcap Hills took the gold, tying things up at 3-3, setting up the ultimate showdown in the final event to settle who would be the Backyard Games champions. And so this was it. The morning of the final competition
It all comes down to the last
and you could
event.
sense the anticipation in the air throughout the neighborhood. Everything would come down to the high jump. So the competitors made their way over to the backyard.
Dude,
running
Fat
through
Gus
the
is
training
not winning the high
progressions in their
jump.
heads,
He's gonna
preparing
have to
themselves
dig
mentally
deep and
for what
find.
lay ahead.
Oh my goodness.
He's gonna have to turn into someone new, man.
Disappointing.
What a shameful example of poor sportsmanship. Clearly just trying to get in their heads the morning of the final event.
Even the birds
that's
were
Bush League
expressing
from
their
Fat Tail.
distaste in the best way birds know how. But the mark of a true professional is being able to clear your mind, as you can see Augustine do here, as she then makes her way up to the platform. And Augustine starts
going
out
in.
with what is arguably less of a jump and more of a hoist.
Okay, so
but
it's gonna move up. It's gonna
Rick
keep
went
moving
a
up.
bit quicker, but then got slowed down on his exit because he discovered he could see himself in the reflection, and he knows a handsome devil when he sees one. Fat Gus and Marty, on the other hand, were able to clear this one with minimal effort, which meant it would all come down to the highest high jump setting. Rick went first, but after choosing
They move
a bad
it all the
angle,
way to the highest
things did
after the
not end
first
well.
one.
Augustine used her meticulous planning to size things up and then deduced that the best way over was under. And while clever,
she
it was
went
a clear
under.
violation of the rules,
Yeah,
so she was out
that's
too.
not gonna
That
work.
left Marty and Fat Gus to decide.
Oh
it all.
my
And
God,
after a final
dude,
flex
it's gonna
to
be
really
Fat
hype
Gus,
himself
bro.
Up, Marty turned his attention
Look at
to
him
the
flexing, though.
platform,
I don't know.
stepped
Marty's kinda
up,
tight,
and
too.
with a big effort, he did it.
Oh,
he actually pulled it
what?
off. Although he sort of grabbed the side to do it, so that meant if Fat Gus could go over clean without using the
Fat
side,
Gus.
that would
He
give
left an
the humble
opportunity, man.
underdogs from
He left the
Hubcap
door open
Hills
for
the
Fatty.
championship.
Here's Fat Gus with the approach.
Fatty
sizing
G.
of the bar. The jump is up. A
Oh,
bit of pause.
no.
Still paused. Oh no, Fat Gus.
Wow. Well, okay. I guess that means Marty gets the gold, and that puts Walnut Estates to
Fat
4 gold
Gus.
medals, making them the official winners of the Backyard
Good
Games.
try, Fat Gus.
So,
Good try, man.
There you have
This wasn't your
it.
day.
I mean,
That's not your
can
thing,
see
you know?
they're ecstatic,
You're not a
and
high
rightfully
jumper.
So it was a hard fought.
Look at him on the next one.
Wait a second. I'm getting some breaking news. Stand by for just a... Oh no. What I've just heard has disturbed me deeply.
And that was the moment everything changed because of a bombshell revelation.
Dude, Marty
And you
was
can
on
tell Marty
PEDs.
already knew what was coming. By the way,
Marty
he
was on
banished himself
PEDs.
from the backyard and into the bushes. The first clue was after going through all the footage, and I mean, I bear partial responsibility for not noticing this myself, but Marty was constantly flexing. It's almost like he had all these newfound muscles.
No, bro, there's no way, man.
Was
He's
it
on
possible that
PEDs.
he was secretly eating non-regulation walnuts to make his muscles bigger and stronger? Well, if he was gonna do that, he'd have to hide them somewhere. And for our second clue, we know that ever since he was young, his favorite spot for hiding stuff was under the rug. So while he was busy competing and winning the high jump, a raid was secretly being conducted at Walnut Estates by the authorities. And sure enough, a trapdoor was discovered.
Dude,
and after
I can't.
peeking inside, they found these. A couple of bags of Russian walnuts. And I probably don't need to tell you why, but in the backyard games, Russian walnuts are strictly prohibited. And so suddenly
so
it
funny.
made total sense why he was the only one strong enough to conquer the high jump. And you can imagine when the news leaked to the neighborhood, just how utterly shocked everyone
It's
was.
so funny,
Wow.
man.
This is disappointing on a molecular level. And I say that not just as a sportscaster, but as an American. Quite frankly, it's a disgrace to the integrity of the backyard games.
But on the bright side, it meant an adjustment had to be made.
Let's go, Fat Gus.
Easter high
Let's
jump
go.
gold medal goes to Hubcap Hills and makes Hubcap Hills the champions of the Backyard Summer Games.
And with the news of the reversal, you can see
Hubcap
Fat Gus
Hills,
wasted
baby.
no time making it down to the trophy.
Fat
and
Gus
Augustine was so
already
happy,
getting
she
his
was gonna contain
earnings.
herself.
Well, okay. A lot of saliva on my mustache.
So the only question that remained was just how Marty would have even got a hold of those. It's just, you can only get Russian walnuts at night from the underground sewer network. Squirrels aren't even nocturnal.
Wow, Marty's
I mean,
crazy.
You'd have to go through, wait a second. Zoom in right there. Of course. Fat Tail was masterminding the whole thing all along to cheat the system. Eventually,
Dude, it was
Fat Gus
Fat
and
Tail,
Augustine
man.
took
He was the
some
plug.
endorsement deals, and they used the money that poured in to relocate their house to the Japanese maple down the street. With, of course, the addition of a conspicuous
Oh,
lawn
wow.
ornament as a playful flex
a nice spot.
to their neighbors below. And speaking of their neighbors, they all eventually found it
Small
in their
flex.
hearts to forgive Marty, because that's just what good friends do. Which is all to say, in the end, they all lived in harmony, happily ever after. Well, except for Fat Tail. He did some hard time in the slammer, because he's a jerk. Fat Tail!